Good morning. Get situated here. Morning, everyone. Sorry to hear that, Corey. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Yeah, no hat today. So let's see what we got here. XOS moving up. Broke this previous after hours high. It's got a new high of 504. A little bit extended on the 5-minute. Also got PFSA. It's in reverse split. PFSA, medical devices, no news. Continuation from yesterday. XOS is, I suppose, the one to watch here at 7 a.m. Hopefully TZ works well for you, NCDs. Morning, Chimera. Morning, Hector. XOS news headline: U.S. Air Force contract. Seems okay. Depends on the detail of the contract, I suppose. Seems good. Morning, human. Morning, Troy. So we got a few seconds to 7 a.m. here, but MACD is negative right now. It could be a 7 a.m. pop, but I think that it is extended with MACD negative. Morning, momentum trader. Morning, Ron. PFSA moving up. Yeah, you can put trade ideas in the chat, but if you say it more than once or you're spamming it, I'll warn that I will time you out. PFSA. Just waiting to see if this holds up or not. All right, that candle was 1150. Hmm. I was hoping it would do an ABCD pattern here. It's going a bit early. See, the low of this candle is 1076. All right, I'll bite. 1076 stop. We're going to squeeze back up to 1150. Just 50 shares. See a 5,000 share seller popping up. kind of an ABCD pattern. No, just back out. Small loss. I was hoping this would be an ABCD and it would squeeze at least back up to 1150 there. There's not really anything else moving right now. So I figured that this might get some attention. Let's see what it does here. The pattern might not be over. Morning, adversary. This pivot is 1128. Very choppy. Choppy price action. NPX. NPX. $1,000 share seller popping up there. High volume selling on the 1 minute. Darn, I was hoping this was going to be a fresh opportunity. Moving pretty quickly. Take a position with a stop of 5 for the retest of 525 and potentially the continued move. Just take a little bit off, scale out just a tiny bit. Since we're sort of tweezer topping up here. If we come back up again and test 525 once more and fail to break, then that's time to get out. Stop is still about 5. If we hold it, we got a 7,000 share bidder there. Pretty big wall of sellers in the way. I'm just going to get out. A small win. Feels pretty slow. I was 526. Yeah, I sold too early. It wasn't an exit indicator. The tweezer top, but the candle was green. And it didn't retest the high yet. So I could have got more out of that trade as it popped up. But I was a little bit worried with how many sellers were popping up on the ask that it ends up doing this. I still could have got a little bit more out of the trade. Wasn't entirely wrong to exit though. Sending resistance. I guess that just formed. Or maybe if you draw it from this candle back here. I don't know. It doesn't look particularly clear yet for that ascending resistance, but Trug isn't quite up enough yet. You jumped in too early on GNPX and lost 16. I typically wait for volume to come in, and I wait for a pullback. I try to enter close to support, as close to support as possible, so that my stop loss makes sense. So typically do my checks and then wait for volume to come in, and then I try to get in on a pullback close to support. Or at a clear level, like if there's a breakout level, then you enter on the breakout level and use that as your stop. Yeah, if there's like 100,000 shares in the 1 minute, then that's pretty good volume to start, because usually on fresh breaking news, 100,000 is just a start. It'll should keep increasing from there, but the 10-second is what I use to find pullbacks. Yeah, another morning of dispersed attention indeed. This one doesn't have news. All those all the stocks with no news are moving better than the stocks with news. It's kind of crazy. The new high is 240. Relative volume is a little bit low on it. Discontinuation, that's why. ENRD. Yeah, sometimes it is what it is. If you got in as close to support as you could and you thought the trade was worth taking and it had good chance of going higher, sometimes it's just a matter of stopping out as quickly as you can. XOS. Going back up again. That seems a little bit more accurate. Did it break through that previous low? Yeah, it did. That's not good. Morning, Slaba. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, there's always tomorrow, though. New tariffs in place for Canada? I have no idea, probably. Don't, I haven't really been paying attention to those sort of politics recently. You know, there's something new every day. Hard to keep track of it all. Have a good rest of your day, Slaba. Nasdaq will trade 23 hours a day. Is that real? Oh boy. For the people who can't step away from their monitors, we might be seeing some zombies soon. 24/7 stream. I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, how would they, like, would they extend after hours and pre-market hours? Like, would pre-market hours be from midnight to 9 a.m. and then after hours would be from 4 p.m. to midnight? Or would there be another time slot? Extended. I do wonder, like, these changes to the PDT rule and changes to being able to trade everything more and longer, like, on the surface, it sounds like they're trying to make the market more accessible to retail traders, but why? If 90% of traders lose money, isn't that a bad thing? I guess not for them. I mean, it's good for the people who want to treat trading like a career, but it's bad for the majority of people who come into trading. The majority of people who come into trading aren't like us. They're basically another form of slot machine gambler, right? The difference between 24/7 casinos and the stock market, at least trading something like small caps, is that you can't trade 24/7. In some equities you can, and on certain stocks you can with the overnight trading, but at least it's not as accessible. But if they're trying to make it more and more accessible to the average person it's not going to help the average person. It's going to make them potential addicts on their phone. Stock trading in bed at 3 a.m. Yeah, a lot of us were, and we made the choice to become more informed. But many don't, right? Like the people in this chat if we're talking about people who are now choosing to be informed, we're talking here as a group. It's a little bit of survivorship bias because I guess we could say, oh well, all of us, we made the choice eventually after spending time in the markets. But I don't think the majority of people do that. You know, for every one person that ends up coming to Ross's chat or my chat or someone else's chat to get educated, there's probably 9 people who don't, and they lose all their money and then they give up and go do something else. Try and go to bed and dream you missed a move, jump up to your computer at 2 a.m. Yeah, it sounds really unhealthy. Yeah, there's not much I'm liking either this morning. Am I having stream problems? Yeah, for a second it said my OBS disconnected. I don't know why. Is it running fine? Okay. Yeah, it said my OBS disconnected for a second just randomly. That's weird. I don't know why. Another Chinese stock here. Very light volume. Hey, Ben. Nasty jackknife. Hmm. Ross hasn't complained about Thinkorswim's slow execution. Do they give him a special route? The Ross Cameron route? It says on his level 2 that it's routed to NASDAQ, but it's actually routed through Ross Cameron share size or share pool specifically. Morning, Flip Flop. Yeah, I'm not interested in Rito though. It's too expensive. Very easy to get smoked on something like this. Sure, the volume is very light. And climbing and climbing and climbing. It's approaching high of day here. After hours market high, but uh, definitely outside of my wheelhouse. That's for sure. We need some opportunities today. Hopefully the market doesn't cool off, or I'm gonna have to go back to playing Slay the Spire on stream or something. It's kind of an extended ABCD pattern on the 5-minute of 222. MACD's close to curling positive. Look at that yank. That's a nasty yank. Mito needs to fail, and attention needs to be more focused on one stock. Yeah, everything's selling off right now. I mean, this doesn't have that much volume, but that's partially because of its price. PFSA. Mm, not sure. Yeah, I have to remember to draw some of these ascending and descending trend lines sometimes. YYAI. This popped yesterday up to 190. My game plan on scaling my size? Well, I have a $2,000 account, right? My maximum risk per trade is about 2%, which is 40 bucks. Previously, I was trading with quarter size of my max position. So let's say if my max position size is $200 or 200 shares with a 20-cent stop, right? Quarter of that size was 50 shares. Right now I'm trading with half size as part of my scale up. Instead of quarter size, I'm trading with half size for a little bit. And if there are no issues, then I'll continue trading with half size. But if there are, then I start losing money on the week, then I might go back down to quarter size just to maintain my account without losing too much money. But if I continue having green weeks, then eventually I will invest in myself at the rate that I need to be sizing up reasonably. Right? If I can make enough in the account that I don't have to deposit money to size up, and that's great. But I might deposit like 500 bucks here or there. To add on to my profits in the account. And I'd probably trade with share milestones. So right now, like if 200 is my max position size, maybe I want to go up to 300 max position size. So my, 2% of my account size, you do the math on what the account size needs to be to size up to that amount. And my fallback will always be going from half size to quarter size. And if I continue losing money at the rate that it puts me back down to a previous level, of account size that I have to size down and stick with quarter size, then I'll do that, right? If I build it up to 3K, and I'm suddenly trading with, uh, with 60 bucks max risk, right? So 20 cents on 300 shares. I go back from 3K account size back down to 2K account size. That means I have to go back down to 200 shares max size, 100 shares half size. But I don't always trade 200 shares either. It depends on the price of the stock and how fast it's moving, what its ranges are, and what my risk is. I'm not really sure what this is doing. This has no news. It popped up to 190 yesterday. And now we're right below this pivot of 171. We're just going sideways. Can we stop with the scammers joining my Discord, please? Like, you guys have no shame. I'm a scammer looking for a Discord link. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on it this weekend and make it more difficult so they can't just spam. I at least ban that guy instantly, but since I'm available to ban him, I can't be staring at my phone all day, every day, waiting to ban scammers that are trying to get people to join their crappy Discords. Honestly, it's astonishing to me how that's even a business model. Does anyone even click on those things? Yeah, I mean it must work if they're I guess if they do it in thousands of discords, you have a few dummies who click on it. How does one impersonate my page? Well, all they need to do is uh, screenshot my Discord icon and then make an account with a slightly different letter that's barely noticeable and pretend to be me. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's receiving messages from me asking them for things, just ignore it. It's not me. And if you're not sure if it's not me, I posted in the announcements that all you have to do is right click on my name in the Discord. Like I gave myself my own label, my own role. It says Veil. So just right click on my name and click send message and it'll open up an actual message with me. There's nothing in there, it's not me. If it opens up a separate separate message on the Discord. I never thought that I would already be targeted by scammers. There's been quite a few of them. I only have 500 subs. I'm not that big yet. Thinkorswim is frustrating. You can't implement raw strategy to buy the first candle. Well, what you have to do typically is anticipate what's going to happen rather than react what's going to happen. React to what's going to happen, because by the time you react to what's happening, the price is already gone without you. That's what I've been doing recently. Try to anticipate what's going to happen. Buy a bit early. And keep your stops tight at the low. How long did it take me to build up 100 viewers? Well, it was just a month ago. It was like just under 40 days ago that I had 18 subs and one viewer. My first viewer was Spooky. I wonder where he is now. Spooky and Bass. I wonder if Bass is still here. Even Momentum Trader. Momentum Trader knows. He was here before everyone was here chatting. Yeah, I don't trade stocks under $1 usually. Hey, Bass is still here. I never see you chatting. But some people just like to lurk. Bass likes to lurk. Yeah, there should be. Like if you're in a server, if you're getting a message from somebody that's a server owner or a moderator of a certain server, then they should have like some sort of associated icon maybe. That'd be cool. Trade the trader. Where's my hat? On the table back there. Maybe I should get my hat on. I need to power up. So it gradually grew over 40 days. Well, more like it happened all at once. I live streamed for 4 months. Like I live streamed since April. Basically had almost no activity from April until June. And then I got a few subs in June, and then in early July, I think it was, that we went from like 18 subs to what we're at now, 550 in just 40 days. I think YouTube determined that I wasn't an algo or like a bot, so they started recommending my content after a while, I suppose. I don't know. I don't watch my viewer count. Like I can't tell you. Like I don't look at my viewer count right now. Um I make some videos, yeah. Like I look at the comments and the view counts on my videos after I'm done streaming, but while I'm streaming I don't look at it. Have a good one, human. And now we're a YouTube partner. I got approved yesterday in the evening, which is pretty cool. Still not to the point where apparently you need 1,000 subs to run ads, but I probably won't even run ads while I'm live streaming. I think while I'm live streaming, ads would be the most freaking annoying thing ever if you're actually watching me or like listening to me while we're in the middle of a trade and then something pops up for some ridiculous advertisement. I'd probably keep them off during stream, but can't do it yet anyways. Yeah, I think streamers have the option to keep ads off. I hope so. Yeah, it's good being in a community with other traders for sure, Phil. That's kind of what I liked about Ross, like being in the live stream with Ross for a while, is that it's good confirmation to see if other people are looking at the same things. So, I mean, 8 a.m. has come and gone here, and there's still no opportunities. XOS didn't end up pulling away. So we only got 10 bucks on it. And PFSA just turned out to be a pop and then sideways. We're kind of break even right now. Slightly red. I'm hoping that we get some sort of opportunity. And I don't typically trade penny stocks here. Okay, you woke up early for crickets. Yeah, it's definitely a lot quieter. Slow day, Corey? Did you continue trading, Corey? I thought you said at the beginning of the stream that you were done for the day. No, that wasn't me. It wasn't me. 5:30 PST. I don't know what PST time is compared to EST. Yeah, the commissions on TZ will eat you if you're not careful. Like it works. It's fine for my strategy because I only take a couple of trades per day, and I have a very high risk reward. If my strategy was focused on accuracy and taking a lot of trades, or if it was just focused on taking a lot of trades in general, because I think you can have a low accuracy if you have like an extremely high risk reward, but you can take a lot of trades. But it'll eat you, sure. You overtrade. And I recommend other momentum live streams. Well, DJ is a sim trading scammer, so don't uh don't listen to what he says. If you want to listen to real people trading for real, um, I mean, Candyman is unprofitable, but he's fun to watch and listen to. He's a Canadian like myself. And some people were saying that Relentless Trader is a group of traders that are legit. I haven't like done a lot of digging into them to verify myself. Relentless Trader and then Stock Jock and then um, Kev Momentum. Apparently those traders are legit. Yeah, I think I've seen enough evidence to say that DJ is a sim trader. I wouldn't normally like call someone a sim trader unless I had substantial evidence of it because I like to be conservative in case someone is actually legit and I'm saying, I'm saying something that could um, you know, it could affect them when maybe they're actually legit, but I've seen enough evidence for him. What time zone am I in? I'm in Eastern Standard Time. Oh, they still run ads? That's annoying. I mean, I'm gonna turn my ads off for live stream, so hopefully they don't run too many of them. That would be super annoying for people. But that's not my choice. I would turn them on just for my regular videos, like after my live streams and my regular videos. But during live stream, I would want to keep them off. HAW is not up enough on the day for me. No news. About 550, it does have a daily level. Relative volume is also low. NTWOW. Volume's too light. Everything else is still selling off. You doubt DJ is a sim trader? Well, there's I have several friends who have taken his courses, and they've gotten banned when they asked him questions and they ask him to point out certain things. He says dumb things all the time, like, I don't use metrics. And there's also screenshots of him, like, while he's live. Like, there was a stream not long ago where he was live and he accidentally pressed the order button too many, like his order got rejected too many times. It said he's in a demo account. And also, he hides his partial fills on his platform, like his broker, because the way that the simulator and the live account for Webull treat the fills on the price is different. In the simulator, Webull will show multiple decimal places, like .23456, for example, whereas this in the live, it doesn't do that. I mean, I'm not here to argue with you, you know? I'm just telling you the evidence that I saw. More than probably points to the fact that he's trading in a simulator. If you want to believe what you want to believe, go ahead. Doesn't matter to me. Well, I don't want to be associated with anyone that's potentially a sim trader anyways. I like people who are forthcoming about what they're doing, right? That's why I show on stream, I show everything. I show my order history, open positions, I show my account name. I'm willing to show my actual performance in my trading journal, and if I ever make it profitable, then I'll be willing to use a verified website to let people know that I'm indeed verified, like something like Kinfo, or you know, get my broker statements audited. And whenever someone is selling you courses, you have to ask why. Why are they selling you courses? Right? You have to understand their motivations for doing that. I would feel fine if someone said outright that they're sim trading, right? And they were forthcoming about it. There's nothing wrong with sim trading. I only have a problem with people who are sim trading and saying that they're trading with a live account. and they're trying to sell courses to people at the same time, right? Because that's misleading. I mean, I'm not getting heated or anything. Like, I'm just saying what I think. If someday momentum, or yeah, if someday DJ Momentum comes out and he actually posts like some broker statistics or something, or maybe he links his account to Kinfo, he does something to get verified, I'll apologize and say that I'm wrong, you know? But until he does that, I'm just saying what I think. And but it doesn't matter. We're gonna focus on the trades. The wheat toe is still moving, but it's too expensive for me. We tour robotics. Well, let me pull up Ross's stream. I'm curious. I'm pretty sure he probably traded PFSA, right? He said he traded GNPX and PFSA. Yeah, he traded GNPX when it first popped up. I didn't trade it because it didn't give me a good pullback. Like it was too early on. Like I suppose in this candle, if I bought at 620 and then I sold at 7, it would have worked, but I just felt like it was too early to buy. How much did he scalp? It looks like he bought at 550 and he got filled all the way up to 580 and he sold up at 650, 625. So 30, probably 50 cents. 50 cents on 20,000 shares or so. We got a couple minutes to 8:30. Let me get my victory cap on. All right, let's close out across the stream. So 8:30. Let's see if we get any news. If we don't get any news by 8:30, then not too optimistic about the rest of the day. So let's see what happens. Rare that we get 8:45 or 9 o'clock news. Ugh. F68 is this high? SXTC. Chinese stock with no news, million share float. Higher volume selling candle on the 10-second. Let's see. It popped through quickly. We're holding 6, so I'll take 100 shares. Stop with 6. Suddenly a big seller popping up. 20,000 share seller. Let's see what it does down here. Low of the pullback is about 584. So we have to stop out quickly. High was 636. Okay, so what is it doing up here? Low is 594. This 1 minute pullback. $19,000 share seller popping up. That was now 583. All right, I'll take a position. Stop is going to be about 580 for the squeeze back up to 640. No, it's just getting yanked. That was a bit of a shittier one. I think that was a promising entry for the squeeze back up to 640, but it just got shorted off of 620. My fill was terrible too. Wow, that was a really bad fill. Yeah, these are tough to trade. SGLY popping up. Review app. Yeah, I mean, let's look back at this. So I made a couple mistakes on this. The intention was valid, but I'm not sure if this was the right stock to trade in terms of stock selection. Now that I'm looking back, I didn't do all of my checks. So we had a move back here with a high of 670. So relative volume is not above 5. It's a Chinese stock with no news. So this was automatically a riskier trade. But it was moving quickly, and there's not really anything else moving today. So I thought that this could become in focus, but I still doesn't matter because I didn't do my checks back here. That's one thing. But I did think that this was a valid entry here at 6 since we bounced off of it. And my first entry, we stopped out as we broke down 6. That's fine. I did a longer pullback than normal. We had a big seller pop up. And then here, it held the previous high of 580, the top of this candle. And I thought that we would bounce off of it for first candle to make a new high because we bounced off it 3 times. And this candle was about to close with 10 seconds left as almost a dragonfly, not quite, but close to a dragonfly. But there was just a big seller waiting. Somebody was waiting to pull the ripcord on this. Not much I can do about that, other than not take the trade if I think that it's too risky in terms of stock selection. But I think that they were valid entries for my strategy. Still higher volume buying than selling. We're actually pretty close to the previous highs. 620 up to 680. Yeah, I think it was just it's mostly just a sentiment of the market, honestly. A lot of false breakouts. Well, the problem is that if I snubbed every single Chinese stock because it's a Chinese stock, then I would be missing out on a lot of opportunities in this market because since June, Chinese stocks have been somewhat of a theme. The no news Chinese stocks, where the front sides have been really powerful. And you just need to make sure you don't get in on the back side. Eventually, that theme is going to disperse, and maybe it already has. Um, but as that keeps happening more and more with these Chinese stocks, then we'll be a bit more sure that the theme has dispersed. I mean, if we keep having this sort of price action, I'm going to have to start employing cold market behavior strategy. I think the writing might be clear if we keep having this price action that I'm going to have to start looking for stocks with news as my A quality setups. If we keep having this many false breakouts, then I'm going to have to start being more strict. Usually what happens in a cold market after the themes have been dispersed is that traders become hesitant to jump on things. You have to wait to see if it holds up to jump in. And news becomes important again. For a little while here, we've kind of been almost ignoring the news. We pay attention to it when it does have news, see if it's good or not. But if something is moving quickly and it doesn't have news, um, in this sort of hotter market that we've been having, the news hasn't been as big of a factor because traders are willing to jump in. But if market sentiment starts reeling back to the point where even regular traders, retail traders are hesitant to jump in because of all these false breakouts, then we're going to have to start looking for stocks with news so that traders are comfortable in jumping in. We have to tighten our stock selection quality. Otherwise, we keep bleeding. So we tighten it up to stop the bleeding and wait for higher quality opportunities. Descending volume. Well, there's usually descending volume on a pullback, right? Like we had increasing volume on the first leg, and then we normally have decreasing volume on the second leg, or not the second leg, but like the pullback, right? Like that's fine, in my opinion. I took this right here, that 1 minute candle. First candle make a new high. That's 6 for the hold of 6. The hold of 580, I mean, but I bought above 6. And then I took the first micro pullback on that pop. If I look at the 10-second chart, the amount of volume that dropped. Oops. Isn't that normal though on these pullbacks? Normally the volume drops on pullbacks, and then you have a surge of volume right at the breakout. From what I've seen, that's pretty normal. Like, let me look at, I still gotta pay attention to my scanners. What was a good example of a trade that worked recently? Personal archives, July. We opened up on the side. Continue. Look at a green day on a trade that worked. August 13th. July. I don't have one for August 13th. Trading recaps. This is August 13th. Just look. So on my trade right here on the pullback, right, we had decreasing volume on the pullback. I think that's pretty normal to me. You have increasing volume on the front side as the leg is extending, and then you have decreasing volume on the pullback. And then at the point where volume becomes the smallest, that's when volume comes surging back in. Like, we had a false breakout there, and then it broke, and then we have another surge of volume at the breakout point. Like, to me, that's pretty normal. I understand this is an isolated example. I could probably pull up more examples, but to me, like, decreasing volume on the pullback is normal. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I've understood it, at least. Morning, Jaden. Well, if it's confirmation bias, then I'll dig into my VODs and and take a relook at that then. In Ontario using Webull, how do you like Trade Zero? I like Trade Zero. Webull Canada sucks. Sorry to, sorry to say. But Webull Canada, compared to Webull US, Webull Canada only has basic hotkeys for buy on bid, sell, and ask. That's about it. They only have a few preset hotkeys that you can just bind a keybind to and then just adjust a couple of things on it. So I prefer Trade Zero because I can have a lot better customizations for hotkeys, and I can have multiple hotkeys, as many hotkeys as I want. I also don't like Webull's time and sales because it doesn't refresh in real time. It refreshes in like 1 second intervals. Doesn't Webull also use a price ladder for their level 2 instead of this top of order book? Maybe I can disable that. I didn't look too much into it, but I don't like the price ladder either. Yeah, it was a B quality setup for sure. B quality setups can still work, but they work less frequently. Um, the real question is, did Ross take that trade? He did not. So obviously I need to do some VOD review because there's some things that I didn't look at when I took this trade, I suppose. To me it looked like a good opportunity, or like a decent opportunity, maybe not an amazing opportunity because I failed to check the previous day. The previous day is high and I failed to check the relative volume. But on the higher time frame, the volume profile looked okay. Hmm. A silly moving. This one isn't up enough on the day. Relative volume is low. Pop and drop stock. I think I'm good on that one. It does have news, but invest in 2100 Bitcoin. I think the Bitcoin treasury strategy is a little bit outdated. I think they're about a year too late with that one. How much does relative volume? Usually you want it greater than 5. So these small cap stocks, they are not regularly traded. So you want it at least 5, but usually when it's a freshly traded news catalyst or some sort of fresh catalyst, even if it's not news, relative volume can be up like several thousand%, right? Because it's not normally traded and then it's doing something out of the ordinary. That's the reason why it's moving. We're looking for stocks that are doing something out of the ordinary. So if relative volume is below 5, that means that something happened on a recent day and we have to pay attention to what happened. You know, did it pop up and then fail? And now we're on the backside of a move with a bunch of bag holders? Or is it just a regular pop and drop stock? You know, context is important. Sometimes we can trade lower relative volume if it's continuation from a previous day, like breaking a previous day's high. That's fine. But usually we want relative volume to be higher, like above 5 at least. The pullback on the pop of XTC was right on the trend line. That's one thing that I don't normally do, or I haven't done before, was draw the trend line as the pullback was forming. Like, yeah, I knew that there was a previous high up here. Not on this one. Yeah, I knew that there was a previous high up here, but the trend line, I guess, got drawn right after this first candle formed in this pullback. So I see what you mean. That's something that I've never really done in the past. Five or 500%. Well, the way Charts Watcher records relative volume is in percentage, but 500% is the same as 5, right? For Charts Watcher, mathematically speaking. Do I trade based off of news? It depends on the market sentiment. Usually you want news, but in the recent market, news hasn't really been big of a factor. So I'm a little bit curious as to why this is moving. It's now in our fifth leading gainer slot. Relative volume is lower. Up 75% now. I don't really like the news very much. 2100 Bitcoin in Super League. And the news released at 8:30, so why did it just start moving now? Right? Low is $5. Trade with 100 shares since we're already at close to max loss for the day. This looks like a pattern. 72%. Waiting for it to hold up. All right, I'll take a position. Stop is going to be around 525. Looking for first candle to make a new high. Now, that's enough for me for today. Holy smokes, man. I was 575. I was expecting it to retest 575 there. A nice pattern on the 1 minute. Held 5. We got bought back up there. So choppy today. This might be doing an ABCD pattern, but we're past max loss now. It's enough trading. How much do I make today? I don't make anything. I'm down $70 today. How long have I been? Oh, you're asking someone else? A bit slow. I don't think so. I think I took it, I waited to see if it would hold up because this is a stock that had lower relative volume. I didn't like the news on it. I don't want to just jump in. If I were to jump in back here, to me that would be FOMO. I jumped in when I saw a setup forming on the 1 minute. It had a nice green doji candle. And I was watching it on the level 2 to see if it held $5. It dipped down below 508 and then got bought back up. And I bought right as the 1 minute candle closed. That was very intentional. It wasn't FOMO. I do trade micro pullbacks, but I traded the 1 minute pattern in this case because the micro pullback wasn't trustworthy to me because it had lower relative volume and I didn't like the news. So I just wanted to wait to see if it would hold up. And I thought that the 1 minute pattern looked nice to me. Looked like it had a higher probability of working. Just didn't. Yeah, I can't take any more trades now because now I'm starting to feel a little bit frustrated. Um, you know, I think like I don't think that there was any one of my trades today where I FOMO'd in. Like all of my trades were intentional. And the only one that worked was XOS. XSTC, I mean, that's debatable on whether I should have taken that. Like I probably shouldn't have taken that because of the previous day's relative volume. So SXTC was more of a matter of like I didn't do my proper checks. So I guess you could call that not following my process. So maybe XSTC I can't even pronounce that. You know, the second stock that I traded. SLE was still I mean, this was a setup according to my strategy. I followed the process on this just fine, but it needed a bit of a longer pullback, I guess, because now it's busting through high of day here. Right up here would be a 1 minute micro pullback. If this holds, I would take this, but it seems like it's breaking down. My commissions for the day. Um, to tell me. $6, it says, is the estimated. If I traded 100 plus shares, we also have some zero commission trades. No, probably none of my trades were commission free. Probably all of them were marketable orders, so none of them would have been commission free. No, most US brokers don't allow Canadian citizens. Most US brokers, they, in order to allow Canadian citizens as customers, they would have to register with the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization and pay fees. And then have to deal with a bunch of paperwork and policies and stuff, so they just don't do it. That's why whenever there's a US broker and they want to transition into allowing Canadian customers, they make a separate Canadian branch. Like TradeZero, for example, they have TradeZero Canada, TradeZero US are both separate branches because TradeZero Canada is completely different for regulations. Yeah, buying at ask with an offset would be immediate. Yeah, hopefully. Who is eToro? Are they a well-known company? Like, are they a reliable company? I don't know anything about them. Easy is 0.005 per share. Yeah, it's about the same. Buy more than 200 shares, they drop the $2 fee. Yeah, I think here it's under 100 shares. Have a good one, Grace. Hey, HSM. Yeah, no, I agree that the 10-second chart recently has been working more frequently. Um, but there weren't any fresh opportunities today. I mean, you could say SLE, yes, but its relative volume was less than 5 at the time. And I wasn't sure about the catalyst, the news catalyst. So I didn't want to just jump in on a pull on the front side of the pullback on this because I was thinking that it would probably just fail. But it didn't, and then it held up on this pullback at the 9 EMA. So I thought that it had a chance to retest 575 when I jumped in on this bull flag. It didn't work. You know, it is what it is. And I'm at max loss for the day, so I can't take any more trades now. But you know, I'm on SLE. I think the trade was fine. SXTC, I think I ignored the relative volume, which wasn't good. XOS was a small winning trade. It was fine. PFSA today. It was back here, right? On the 1 minute. It popped through VWAP. Did an ABCD pattern. And then someone mentioned descending resistance on here as well. So maybe that's something I just need to be aware of. If we're on the backside, then potential descending resistance. However, this was still a ABCD pattern holding above VWAP, and it was our top leading gainer, one of our top leading gainers in the day. So I thought that this had a good chance at 7 a.m. to just pop through. That also didn't end up working. It's just been a really tough day. You know. SXTC. Where is it now? Did it come all the way back down? Yeah, it did. Hmm. Does Trade Zero International have the same trading agreements as Canada? The Trade Zero International, um, Trade Zero International and Trade Zero Canada are different branches, I think. So it's hard for me to say because Trade Zero Canada requires their own branches since Canada has like very strict regulations on margin and stuff and for tax purposes. So they're probably different. I can't say exactly, but they're probably different. And my charting software is chart or Trading View. My scanners are Charts Watcher. My actual trading charts are Trading View. I got the annual sub for Trading View back in November 2025 for like a 50% discount. Back when they were doing the sales in November. I have to decide when my sub expires whether I want to use the Charts Watcher charts and save a little bit of money. Although there are a few annoyances I have with the embedded trading view engine in the charts watcher charts, but it's probably worth it to deal with the small annoyances to save the sub on premium for trading view if I can get another discount. But I'm using the trading view charts right now. Remove the hat. Someone said to put on the hat. I was down what, $3, and then I put on the hat. Now I'm down 70. Coincidence? Thanks, HSM. Yeah, have a good one. Now this is a real set of stairs. Look at that. Doot, 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 doot. XOS doesn't exactly have an obvious pivot. It sort of has a pivot around 475, 473. But I'm not sure what this is going to do. Weeble got updated and now has a custom hotkey feature. Is that right? Let's open it up and have a look. Display capture, why not? Install now. All right, let's install. I'm going to go back to Stream Regular for a second in case it shows off my account info after the update or something silly. Let's see. Okay, that's fine. So let's see what they did with the hotkeys. They updated the hotkeys. Where are the hotkey settings, hotkeys? trade, hockey settings. We have buy market. Share is still the only option. Buy bid. Share is still the only option. But they have stop loss and take profit order, 10%. Not sure how that works. Take profit order. Set to the same hotkey as buy bid. I ask. No. Sell ask. Can I change the percentage? Nope. I don't know how the take profit orders work. Interesting. So I still can't make multiple hotkeys. Oh no, I can. Oh, they added it. Oh, nice. So if I want to make sell ask 50%, for example, button to apply to stock, sell. Okay, well that makes Webull a lot better. Webull Canada. You guys already had this in Webull US. But now we have it in Canada. That's great. The quantity. I'm still not sure how this take profit order works. Like if you already have quantity filled out, like if I increase this to 50%, I probably would have to figure out how it works exactly. Like, does this take profit order take precedence over the quantity? At last price, 100 quantity, day, no X hours with take profit? Or does take profit order mean that it always takes profit 50% above the limit price? Like if it's a $1 stock and you put take profit 10%, for example, and you buy at $1, does that mean that it's always going to set an order immediately to take profit at $1.10, for example? Or does this take profit order mean that that you can set it so that it sells like 30, like half of your position size? That's what I'm wondering. They added cancel order hotkeys. Yeah, I'm thinking that this means that this isn't like an option to sell half. You still have to like manually do it with your quantity orders somehow, but at least you can create as many as you want now with Canada. That's good. Let me get rid of that. It does make Webull better, but I still have a problem with this time in sales price ladder. Order book settings. Market by order. Oh yeah, so I can set it like this, so that's fine. The time in sales though, transactions. If I change this to XOS, what that look like? Yeah, the time in sales is still a little bit not so great. It seems like it's refreshing at set intervals rather than real time. One 1,000, two 1,000, three 1,000. Yeah. My only problem with Webull, assuming that the execution speed is fast now for Webull Canada, if the execution speed is fast, then now my only problem with it is the time in sales. And the fact that, well, that and the fact that you can't sell percentage of your position, from what I can see here at least. But it's not so bad anymore. And it's commission free. I don't normally trade with Webull. I trade with Trade Zero Canada. So I don't know how they are with restricting small cap stocks. I think that they don't restrict that many. Sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't, from what I hear at least. So that's dumping. Sally's halting up. And it's going straight into a halt down. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, this market for the past week has been a lot more difficult. So it kind of sucks that this type of day had to happen on the week that I size up. Where I just have multiple losses in a row. But I do have to put a big asterisk beside SXTC today, because I jumped in that when it still had lower relative volume and it was on the backside of a move from the previous day. All my other trades I felt like were okay today, but two of them still lost. So we're minus 70 on the day, $20 above our max loss. Kind of shitty, but I'm not going to take any more trades today. The FSA is halting up. You notice that trend lines work. Comes up after overtrading. I don't know what Ross did today. I don't think he took many trades. I think today was a probably a small green day for him. Yeah, sometimes trend lines uh some trend lines seem more obvious than others, I suppose. They do work. You need to make sure that they're obvious to traders. What time do I usually trade till? I normally trade until it depends, right? If there's something I'm interested in watching at market open and it has a nice pattern to trade, then we'll trade market open for a little bit. But recently, I've kind of just been ending at market open. I start at around 7 a.m., quarter to 7, and then I finish around this time because I have a 9 to 5 job that I gotta go to. So he finished up 8,000 in a small account, trading PFSA, SXTC, SLE. So he did trade SXTC. So I'm gonna have to watch his recap to see like where he took his positions because I mean like I seem to be trading the same stocks as him for the most part, but he has different ideas for entries and he ends up green on the day. Where did he trade SXTC, I wonder? Where did he trade PFSA? Did he trade right at the break for PFSA? Right at the break of VWAP? Did he trade the front side of SXTC? Yeah, it's tough. Have a good one, Jaden. Well, the issue that comes with frustration is when you feel like the product of the day is in your control, right? If we feel like there's something that we did and we feel the need to be right, but we were still wrong, then it can get frustrating if we have multiple losses in a row where we think that we're right. Um, I think the right way to think about it is thinking about it in terms of probabilities. Sometimes we can be wrong 10 times in a row and there's nothing that we can do about it. But maybe the next 10 times that we take trades, we're right on every single one of them. Like overall, maybe the strategy is profitable, but we just got unlucky. Sometimes that can happen and it is possible. And it is important to understand that. Critically think about our trades in a way where if we're following our process and we believe our process is profitable, then we need to critically look back and say, did we follow our process and were we still wrong even though we followed it? If we were wrong even though we followed our process, then the trade was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But if it was something that we did, like if we broke our discipline or we didn't do our checks or we messed up our execution, then then it was something that we did wrong. But and that can get a little bit frustrating if you're wrong over and over again, but you're having trouble like following the process. That's where it can get a little bit frustrating. That's where we need to fix our habits so that we can follow the process consistently. So that's interesting. It resumes, pulls back to VWAP, and then continues higher. Does like a mini micro pullback in between. Like it's close to halting up again. What time frame do I mostly take my trades on? Mostly the 10-second. If it's consolidating, I might use the 1 minute or the 5 minute for context. But mostly the 10-second. You never know when it's coming back and don't know where to look. Alt resumption times. Oh, you're talking, yeah. So if you read the time in sales, for example, on SLE, it's the last price quote was at 9:35:45. So every 5 minute increment, usually if it's a NASDAQ stock, that would be its resumption time. So this would resume at 9:40:45. If it doesn't, then you assume that it's another 5 minutes. You just add 5 minutes every time it doesn't resume. So if it doesn't resume at 9:45:45, then it would resume at 9:40:45, then it would resume at 9:45:45, and then 9:50:45, and then 9:55:45. And that's usually pretty consistent for NASDAQ stocks. Sometimes for NYSE stocks, they can resume at weird times, but if it's a NASDAQ stock, usually it'll follow that sort of resumption. Red day for you too, Lauren. It's a tough day. Tough day for a lot of us. Yeah, no problem. See, it resumed at 9:45:45 just now. Silly did. Yeah, I'm just hanging around chatting, but do I prefer Zero Pro over TZ1? I looked a little bit into TZ1. It's a web-based platform. I have a little bit of a bias against web-based platforms because they usually are a little bit slower than a standard desktop application. So sometimes you can deal with some browser lag and stuff. I haven't actually tested TZ1 though. I'm not entirely sure. I'm more of a pre-market guy. Market open, you have to deal with halts and market orders and stop orders and the price being really whippy. but I will trade during market open if there's a good opportunity that's presented to me that looks good on continuation for pre-market. But it's less common. No, I haven't. But if I can eventually go trading full time, I'll probably trade multiple different strategies and then figure out which one works best. Like during pre-market, I'd probably trade momentum, and then during regular market hours, I might try some different uh, systematic trading. Yeah, nice job today, Phil. All right, I think that's enough for me. I think I'm gonna shut it down and do my recap quickly before I have to get to work. $70 red day. My biggest red day in a while since I sized up to 100 shares for above $6 stocks. It is what it is. We'll come back tomorrow with a fresh mindset, and hopefully we don't continue having this really choppy price action. But I'm definitely going to have to be more cautious about the setups that I take. And if we continue having this choppy price action, then I'm going to treat it as though it's a cold market. Have a good one, Momentum Trader. No, I don't have a Robinhood account. I'm in Canada and I don't have access to Robinhood. Nice job, Feeney. Yeah, I'm shutting it down. Thanks everyone that stopped by today. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. But until then, take care, stay green, manage your risk, and I'll see you guys next time.